On behalf of Blaze, the Women's Network here at Pros, welcome and thank you for joining today. I'm Emily Hart in marketing here at Pros, and I'm joined with Les Rechan, our new Chief Operating Officer here at Pros. In recent months, we've all had several changes and we've all had to make shifts in the way we work, in the way we engage, in the way we lead, personally and professionally. And those changes, as difficult as they are, make it really difficult for us to focus on ourselves and make that time for well-being and make it a priority. So we're excited today to talk with Les about how he intentionally makes a mindset shift to help him lead with passion and compassion. So Les, thank you for joining. We're excited for this conversation. And we'd like to kick it off by learning more about your background. Can you give us some insights into your portfolio of life?
Well, first, thanks for having me. I appreciate getting together with the Blaze team and appreciate being part of the Pros family. My portfolio of life, I've had the good fortune of being able to, in that journey, live and work all over the world, in the Americas, in Europe, in Asia Pac. I've had the good fortune of working in, every functional area of a company. I've had the experience of working in companies, mega large as well as, smaller and in between. So from that perspective, on the business side, I've seen just that whole diverse set of things. And then, from a family perspective, I also, I'm very fortunate to have met on my life journey my partner in life, who happened to encourage me when I had the opportunity to go global at a very young age to take that plunge and just go out there and experience something different. And that part of my life journey has brought us to different parts of the world, has given us, we had the amazing experience of having 5 kids in 3 years, with 2 sets of twins, and they're all now in university. And so I've just been so fortunate. My wife happens to be Australian. This world journey, this life journey, this business journey has just been, amazing. So that's kind of the background. And, in experiencing that, you just get an exposure to diversity being a very beautiful thing, and innovation coming from all corners of the globe, and the ability to learn from everybody in the room. It just gives you that appreciation, because when you live and work in these other parts of the world, you don't know what you don't know until you know it. And you're a guest, and you're always in, that stage of learning, so to speak.
Yeah. Well, that's great. So can you talk a little bit about your perspective on our current environment that we're all living and working in now?
Yeah, and just this is it. My family, they just walked in as we're doing this recording to hundreds of people, and this is what goes on. This is life in the virtual workforce. Just finishing up the last piece, there's a word I call glocal. It's a glocal world we live in, and it's one word. And that's a key thing here, operating we in the Pros family as a glocal team. But in terms of right now, I think this 3 months has been, it's difficult to describe it, because there's so many feelings in it. and what we've all experienced. And as I reflect on it, you know, it's the world, just in terms of our business, things have gotten 40 times faster. You know, online retail went from 5% of total to 15% in a decade. In the last 3 months, it's gone from 15 to 25%. So you think about those numbers. It literally became 40 times faster in the midst of this volatility trifecta, I call it, where you don't know, your supply chain has been disrupted, your demand chain is hard to predict, the competition is hard to predict. So from a business perspective, it's almost like, you know, you've got your knees tied with a blindfold on in a wind tunnel. And our customers experience that. From a personal perspective, and that's we on this call, the agility that we've had to show in our own lives and the resilience that we've had to demonstrate and the trust that we've had to have in each other and the kindness and the workload. I mean, it's sometimes hard to smile because there's so much weight and you're trying to move to the future in real time and just adjusting to this. So I've really found that there's overload, and it's easy to get intention deficit disorder personally and professionally, meaning there's an intention that you're going to go do something, but it's tough to deliver it personally and professionally sometimes. So what I've found is sometimes you just got to pull up. You literally have to pull up and stop the music and give yourself the time and space and be the change that you want to see.
Yeah.
And 2020 is not, there was an entrepreneur out there, I think her name was, Leslie Dwight, a 25-year-old entrepreneur who said, and it moved me, it literally almost made me cry, was 2020 is not canceled. It's the most important year of all. And with that, you know, it can provide us clarity about what's important. And, you know, it's, so that's kind of, I think, what a lot of us are.
Yeah. So like you were saying, we have this, you know, digital overload, which was happening before these last 3 months, right? We're just always connected. And it is especially now hard to smile. So of course, many people are struggling balancing everything and making a priority for tuning into that emotional fitness. So why is it so important that we focus on helping fuel that to help us embrace our passion and compassion and find that again?
Yeah, I think that, you know, there's always this need, you know, when I talk about emotional fitness and just really making sure that, you know, there's your physical fitness, but there's emotional, which is as if not more important these days, especially, that it is important that we be our own best friend, and that there's a need to detox, just kind of let it flow and really move from inside to outside. And this is where you get passion to compassion, you know, passion in terms of the art of the possible and your purpose and your vision, both this is personally, professionally, and your purpose in life, and really realizing that the headwind, the adversity can actually be an opportunity. And, channeling that energy and turning the headwind a lot of times can be your own mindset and behavior, and turning that into a tailwind. And this is where the emotional, that emotional fitness helps turn it into a tailwind. And almost training your brain to stay above the line, if you will, amongst all these other things that go on below the line. So when I say moving from inside to outside, you can create in your own self-care and in your own mindfulness to others a ripple that is so positive if you're in the right emotional fitness state and the caring state to understand others and know that you can reach out for help. And that becomes then, the inside of your own purpose, passion, all those things that you're doing, then go to the outside, and that becomes the other side of the coin. The passion becomes the compassion, and then the growth that happens on both sides.
Yeah, so sounds great, right? And I think most of us know it's important, but it's not always easy to do, right? It's not easy to put into practice. So what are some ways that we can bring this into our daily lives?
Yeah, the words, what is it? The words got to become action, action into traction. And that's easier said than done, as you know, because you do have your peaks and valleys. You have your peaks and valleys. And, as I've thought about it, I already talked about the training of your brain and knowing that if you can pull up and stay above the line, it's a lot healthier for you than is below the line. And kind of, that the self-care, it's been for, giving yourself the time and space, everything from doing a TikTok challenge with your family to doing a plank challenge with your friends to, I'm fortunate. I get emails from people. Like yesterday, I got one from somebody saying, the moose is loose in Ottawa, Canada. There was a moose that actually went into somebody's swimming pool in my hometown, and seeing that. And then somebody said, hey, the new Norm. They sent me a little cartoon and it showed Norm from Cheers with a beer in the bar with a mask. That's the new Norm. And the group text, with your college classmates that you can turn to at any time, the family text to get a little break from what you're doing, or even that, this morning I had a 15-minute slot, just get out and listen to the music and then go for a run on the canal. So there's those things. I think you need to do an emotional check-in with yourself at the bookends of the day. I like to do it at the start, which is make time your friend. It's a very good time to do an emotional check-in. And then at the end, to land the airplane, to bookend your day with an emotional check-in. And whether it's a reading, whether it's just checking in with yourself to make sure things are okay, I think that's really important. And if it's not, halt, right? Am I hungry, angry, lonely, or tired? What? Give somebody a call, walk out of the office, say hello to the dog, whatever. So those are some things that, I've been doing and need to do more of daily.
Well, and what I love about that is it doesn't have to be some lengthy, difficult thing, right? It can be as simple as, a text with your friends and family, or listening to music, just to get that break, right? To have that time for yourself. So how has focusing on this passion and compassion helped drive your personal and career growth?
Yeah, that's a good one. And the finishing thought to the previous one is just making yourself vulnerable. I keep talking about these two-sided coins. Passion comes with compassion. Courage comes with vulnerability. Outcome focus, which is growth of the business, has got to come with the other side of the coin, which is growth of yourself. So there's all these two-sided coins. And in terms of, my own journey path here, I just think that practicing some of these things really makes a difference. Listen, learn, love, and live. I mean, just those things. Even right now, I'm coming up to speed in a new role. You're listening and learning and loving the beauty of all the goodness that you see. And then you're going to live it and help do what you can to move to the future in real time and create the better normal. So I've always been one of, when you have this passion, it's one word, passion and compassion. Passion's part of compassion. The passion, you get fueled by the purpose that you have, the people that you're around, the platform that you've got, the partnerships you create. That's kind of this passion side, and the business outcomes or the personal outcomes you deliver. And then the compassion side is the reach out and the connection and the fuel from others. So you fuel from within, but then the fuel from others just, it's so powerful in terms of uplifting you and the people that you're connected to and that you're working with, and just the feeding frenzy that goes on. So it's, now in my case, and sometimes I got to be careful about over passion, because, I'm from a business execution standpoint, I like to move quick, and I want to move to the future faster. And you just have to be sensitive to the edginess, the forcefulness of that, so that you really, everybody is aligned and holding hand. I talk about the infinity loop with the customer. The customer's in the middle, and there's this infinity journey loop of, you start the conversation, you start to go, you become a customer, you expand the value. And so there's this balance, like whether it's collaboration, there's over collaboration, there's passion, there's over passion. I don't think you can ever get enough compassion and kindness and empathy. I think that needs to be never ending, but that's the other side of it. And really asking the people around you to provide feedback as a gift. Part of compassion is, even if it's not something you want to hear, just being able to shock absorb it and take it in. And feedback as a gift is a two-way street. And I appreciate so much, if you've shared with folks, what are the things you may want to stop, start, continue, or change, putting that out there, making yourself vulnerable. And then, because some of that stuff's in muscle memory, those blind spots come up. But the two-way compassion would be, please help me, and I'll help you, right? And that intimacy. So
what are some, we'll kind of end with this, what are some of your personal rituals that help you stay focused, stay accountable?
yeah, that's a good, I'm a big believer in rituals. And I like to do it, at the end of the day. There's three that I would encourage people to do, and that I do, which is, the first one is, what did I get done today? What progress did I make? Because as you well know, especially in this environment, please pat yourself on the back. It could be a little thing that you got done. You could have struggled. There could have been a lot of barriers to your success, but you did get something done good. And just celebrate the GSD, the get stuff done that happened today. Something happened, and celebrate that progress, because the meter moved forward today. The second one would be the gratitude, the thankfulness. I'm such a believer in the attitude of gratitude. And I'm also a big believer. It's all attitude plus aptitude equals altitude. And what are you thankful for today? Every day, there's some beauty out there. What happened today that you're thankful for? And make sure to acknowledge that gratitude. And the third one would be more, I would say, on the learning side of self-reflection. If you're focused on certain things, you want to start, stop, continue, change, you know what your habits are, what's built in, the muscle memory you're trying to change. How did I do today? Because darn well, you want to live every day without regret, which means, you're living your dream, you're balanced, you're saying what you need to say, you're hanging out with your friends, you're being happy. But in the course of that, you may not have done everything that you really wanted to do, and self-reflecting on that and correcting and apologizing to yourself and not taking it too serious. Reflect on it and adjust. So those would be three rituals. I call it the GSD ritual, the gratitude ritual, and the self-reflection ritual.